I would love to know the percentage of people that name their pets after their favorite fictional characters. It's got to be over 50. Pets can mean a lot to people, more than I think some other people may realize. My dogs are so important to me. I love my dogs. My two dogs, Parker and Miles, are named after two of my favorite fictional characters. Spider-Man 1, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales. So you can imagine how excited I am to finally be able to watch the first Spider-Man movie in our MCU rewatch. Spider-Man Homecoming, it slaps. I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I feel like it's underrated. You know, when you have No Way Home as the finale, oh my God, we're talking about trilogies the whole time. The Spider-Man trilogy might give the Captain America trilogy a run for its money. I know people are going to think I'm crazy for saying that, but it's just so fun. Come on. Now, in saying that, I do wish we had more street level stuff in the Spider-Man series, but it's okay. I'm sure in the second trilogy we'll lean more into that. Spider-Man is not definitively my favorite character. That will always belong to Wolverine, but he's definitely up there. If I ever have a child, I'm going to name him Logan. You can book this, Logan. If you ever go back and listen to what your father says, this is when he definitively decided to name you. One of my other favorite characters is Batman. Batman was notably played by Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton actually is the definitive Batman for a lot of people. Just like Tobey Maguire was the definitive Spider-Man for a lot of people. But Tom Holland definitely had big shoes to fill with him and Andrew Garfield, but he nails it. He's an excellent lead. The other lead in this film is Michael Keaton, who plays the villain. Does Michael Keaton ever miss? Come on, this guy's a stud actor. What a great villain. The main theme of this film is the responsibility that comes with being a hero. The responsibility has always been a big word in the Spider-Man universe. In the last time we saw Spider-Man was in Civil War, and in that film he got this awesome new suit and he was part of the Avengers. So this film starts off with him wanting to be more an Avenger than like a regular kid in high school or just fighting local bad guys. He was not ready to be an Avenger, and Tony sensed as much, which is why at some point in the film, he actually takes the suit away from Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man's like, this is one of my favorite lines in the film. No, you can't do that. I'm nothing without that suit. And then Tony Stark goes up to him and he's like, if you're nothing without that suit, then you shouldn't have it. And I think one of the reasons I love that scene so much is because as great as Tom Holland is, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, like, bro, that scene shows how far you've come, especially watching it all so close together. It's fresh in your mind, Iron Man, and where Tony was at the beginning and how far he has come. To recognize that someone's not ready for responsibility, like he makes a joke, he sounds like his father. Well, he's being responsible like a father. Tom Holland's Peter Parker is Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark's son. That's his kid. It makes it so sad what happens to them later, but we'll skip that for now. We'll focus on Spider-Man. Spider-Man really provided a good spine for the film. He really helped. He really gave it's like almost like a plot device for Peter discovering who he needs to be. Ned was a great sidekick. Zendaya's MJ was kind of like whatever in this film. Like she was a really funny like secondary character, but you don't really see her for who she is and how great she will be. You don't really see much of her. Really, when you think of it, there's not too much of anybody. It's like everyone has a little bit of scenes, but not that much, except for Ned. And obviously, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Vulture. Ooh, Vulture's sick. You had the Vulture, Aunt May, MJ, Ned, Happy, Tony Stark. There's so many great characters in this film to complement Spider-Man. It was just such a great movie overall. Even though it didn't have particularly strong elements, like when I say particularly strong, I mean like it wasn't a Logan or a Endgame or even a No Way Home, but that it didn't have to be, and I don't even think it should be. It's the first film. Make it fun and light, and we want to enjoy ourselves. But even though it was fun and light, it still had its heavier tones. Like when Spider-Man when he had his suit taken away, that was a really sad moment. John Watts was given a mammoth undertaking with this film because Spider-Man is arguably the most popular comic book character. Let's look at it this way. has any comic book character been given the treatment that Spider-Man has? And what I mean by that is you had the first Spider-Man movie in 2002 with Tobey Maguire. From that point on, let's call that the first Spider-Man movie that kicked off this whole thing. There's been consistent Spider-Man movies for 22 years. Can you believe that? 22 years, and we haven't had as much as a 6-year break. The longest break we've had between Spider-Man movies has been 5 years, and that's Spider-Man 3 in 2007. That was the last Tobey Maguire movie. And then you had Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012, 5 years later. That's the biggest gap between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Because then you had The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014, which was Andrew Garfield's last movie, which transitioned to Spider-Man Homecoming, which was only 3 years later. Can you imagine that? Like how quick they've been pumping out Spider-Man movies? It's wild. And the reason they do that is because these things make money. And the reason they make money, because the character is popular and people cannot get enough of them. Oh, and by the way, there was 2 big animated movies throughout all that. Like, come on, that's crazy. Spider-Man Homecoming had a budget of $170 million, and it made $880 million. That's what I'm talking about. This character sells. Yeah, Homecoming was good. Like, it was fun, whatever. But it still was just a regular movie, you know? And it just crushed it at the box office. You make a Spider-Man movie, you're printing money. People will go to see it. A Spider-Man 3 wasn't that great. And it still made a ton of money. Similar to how much Homecoming made. And I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Spider-Man Homecoming because I really, really loved it. I'm just saying that no matter what the film is, I think people would watch it. Unless it's like Sharknado. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be like No Way Home level. Like, to me, Homecoming is the weakest of the trilogy, and Far From Home is the best one. One of the best CBMs ever, even. Homecoming killed it at the box office. Homecoming killed it in my eyes. I loved it. Everybody was on point. All the scenes were well done. It just felt like I said, it was good. Nothing completely blew me out of the water, but I still loved it. I guess you got to be wondering, where does Spider-Man Homecoming come in on our MCU rankings? Well, I have good news for you. We have a new top 10. Yeah, that's right. Spider-Man Homecoming comes in at number 10 on our MCU power rankings, continuing a strong phase for Marvel. Phase 3, killing it. Next week, we're going to see one of the greatest CBMs ever. We're talking about awesome CBMs in Thor Ragnarok. My name is Mark Savvy of Savvy Geeks, and I'll see you next week.